1999, residents of Tuscaloosa has depended on this butcher shop and grocery store. I'm talking about South's Finest Meats. With their specialty meats and fresh to frozen bulk vegetables, you can prepare delicious home-cooked meals all week long. At South's Finest Meats, customer service is their number one priority, and when you shop with them, you can expect to be treated like an MVP. Go by and check out South's Finest Meats at 3201 10th Avenue right there in Tuscaloosa. South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show. You are locked in on the Stingray Show, and coming up, we are going to be talking with a local product who went to school and played at Carrollton High School over there in Pickens County as a quarterback and a cornerback, and then took his talents to the University of Auburn and played down there in the 2004 season in that magical run. Courtney Taylor, the former Auburn player, will join us on this edition of the Stingray Show. We've got a lot to cover. Let's get things rocking and rolling.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Those of you on Tide 100.9, look out. You're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, a.k.a. Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. You know, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, look, no.
Hey, Stingray, here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good, kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah, but then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, to everyone in Tuscaloosa listening here on Tide 100.9. With the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
Citizens of West Alabama, have you heard the news? The Bank of Moundville, which was established way back in 1907, offers personal loans of all sizes, unsecured and secured, with competitive interest rates. You can contact them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is the Bank of Moundville, 205-371-2227, or go by and see them in downtown Moundville. They are an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC. And ladies and gentlemen, with all of that, we want to welcome you inside another edition of the Stingray Show right here on Tide 100.9. And Heath, we are about to get to our very special guest this evening.
Very special.
Yes, he was also, I forgot to mention this, freshman All-SEC in 2003 for Auburn, and also the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic MVP in the year of 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, the Carrollton, Alabama native, Mr. Courtney Taylor. Courtney, how are things going with you out there in Seattle?
Oh, man, things are going good. I wish I had a little bit more sunshine. Wish it was a little bit warmer, but yes. You know, it's home.
Don't come here.
Well, I hear that. You know, I hear that from a bunch of family members just saying, like, you know, hey, it is cold down south, and you know, I give them a hard time because I tell them, you know, it's snowing, it's raining, and it's constantly cold here. So we're kind of just used to it.
Courtney, looking back at your days of high school football, Pee Wee football, high school football, college football, pro football, your time in the CFL, all of it, when did you have the most fun? Why did you have the most fun playing football?
I definitely would say high school was the most fun.
Okay.
You know, once you get to...
Because you were the core showed out, right?
And that's pretty much what it was. Because I wanted to play wide receiver when I was in high school. Right. But, of course, we didn't have a guy to actually throw me the ball. So
right.
They thought to put me at quarterback, and which it worked out good for me. But I definitely would say high school is some of the funniest time because it's not as stressful. You know, it's you know, you have you know, in college you have a full scale of courses, of classes. Not only are you working out and that stuff, you're practicing, you're meeting, you're doing all the extra things and the things to get you prepared. And, you know, it's a bit stressful, but, you know, it was fun, but nothing like high school. It's definitely less stressful.
Gotcha.
So, Courtney, you were a native of Carrollton, Alabama, like we've already talked about. Mm-hmm. During high school, who all was recruiting you, and did Alabama ever try to recruit you?
So it's just funny a little bit because I was a basketball player.
Right.
Okay.
I played ball like Little League, and I played 1 year of junior high. But, you know, back in those days, I thought my calling card was basketball, and so did a lot of other people. So just kind of how it all just worked out. You know, it just kind of worked out for me in a sense that, you know, things fell in the right place for me. And I just kept going from there, really.
Right.
Courtney, what was the worst recruiting pitch you ever heard, and what school did it come from?
It's been so long, guys. You know, like to get back to the previous question a little bit, some of the schools that recruited me, because like I said, I wasn't a high tier guy. I was a basketball player. You know, you had Auburn in there. You had Troy State, Middle Tennessee, and I'm trying to think who else it was. And then the late pusher was Alabama, so to say.
Okay.
So those were the schools that were kind of after me. But, of course, Auburn was the main school for the longest, you know, because that was the biggest Power 5 school. And then, like you say, just, you know, towards the end of the process is kind of when Alabama kind of scooped in or whatnot, and, you know, thought because I lived maybe 30, 35 minutes from the campus that, you know, they could have possibly persuaded me away from going to Auburn. But, you know, things worked out the way they did. So, but like I said, a recruiting pitch, the worst recruiting pitch, I was never a high tier guy. You know, like a 5-star, 4-star, and you know, some of those guys get, you know, they hear all kind of stories of, you know, or, you know, little things that people try to get them to come to the school. I don't know. I always took the mindset that I was the low man on the totem pole.
Right.
And that's just how I approached everything. And so I never really looked at it as in like, oh, this school wants me so bad that they'll tell me anything. You know, it was just always that, you know, if you get the opportunity, would you like to come here? So nothing too crazy.
So, Courtney, a quick follow-up to that. What ultimately made you decide to choose Auburn?
I would basically just say just some of the connections I made there. Coach Philip Lawley was there for many years, and you know, even to this day, you know, I still do my best to try to keep in contact with them or whatnot. And like I said, it was just pretty much that connection I built with him. And you know, I just throughout that whole process, recruiting process, and I just felt like that, you know, that was a program that reached down into little small Carrollton, Alabama, and said that I could play with the big boys. Nobody else said that, you know, and like I say, Alabama didn't jump on the scene until probably like the last couple of weeks of the process. And, you know, I felt that they was there from the beginning, so I stuck with them.
So, Courtney, hold that thought because we were up against our first break. And when we come back, we're going to dive further into your career at Auburn. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Stingray Show. Be back in a flash. Citizens of West Alabama, have you heard the news? The Bank of Moundville, which was established way back in 1907, offers personal loans of all sizes, unsecured and secured, with competitive interest rates. You can contact them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is the Bank of Moundville, 205-371-2227, or go by and see them in downtown Moundville. They are an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC. Do you guys like to fish? I know I do, and if you have a pond or lake in your backyard that needs stocking of fish, you need to contact biologist Jeff Bagwell with Honey Hole Fisheries. He can help you stock your lake with bluegill, largemouth bass, and hybrid striped bass. You can get in touch with Jeff Bagwell and Honey Hole Fisheries at 205-799-0192. Once again, that is Honey Hole Fisheries, 205-799-0192. Contact Mr. Jeff Bagwell today and let him help you build the lake of your dreams. Do you guys dream about owning a home or a condominium down on the beautiful beaches of Alabama, say Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, or maybe even Fairhope? Then let me tell you about First Class Real Estate South Home Group's owner, Celeste Hagler. She has brokers down there in the beautiful beaches of Alabama to help you purchase the home of your dreams and to live where you love in the state of Alabama. You can contact Celeste Hagler at 205-861-5698. Contact Celeste Hagler today to help you live where you love in the state of Alabama.
100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Good evening. We had an earlier accident spot, 15th Street southbound at 10th Avenue. That's been cleared off the roadway. All lanes are open. And a crash on Veterans Memorial Parkway at 16th Avenue has also cleared. All lanes are open there. Not seeing any other problems. A good flow of traffic now on all your major highways, interstate systems, and bridges. Buckle up, drive safe. And with your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Angie Brodier.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide football.
Alabama touchdown.
Only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back inside the Stingray Show. Our guest this evening is Courtney Taylor, the former wide receiver for the Auburn Tigers, who is originally from, yes, who is originally from Carrollton, Alabama. And before the break, Courtney, we were talking about why you ultimately made the decision to go down to Auburn and play football. But I've got to ask you, what was it like meeting Coach Tuberville for the first time?
It was pretty powerful. You know, like I said, coming from small town like Carrollton, Alabama, you know, football is king. And we know that the other school, you know, Alabama is definitely a strong presence in my town, as well as Auburn. And the first time I met Coach Tuberville, he actually came to a basketball game. And, you know, we're going back to where, I was a basketball guy. He came to a basketball game and a lot of people was just, you know, excited and the gym was buzzing. The Alabama fans were buzzing. So it was just, you know, to meet him in that atmosphere was pretty cool. And so, you know, that's something that'll kind of always stick out.
Yes.
Courtney, fun question, and following up with that, I know if you're a basketball player and a college coach is coming to look at you to play college basketball, I'm sure that's a little bit of pressure there. But when you're playing football, you know, he comes to your basketball game, is it still that pressure?
Oh,
you know, because it's not one of those things where you get like, hey, I don't need to score 30 tonight, but I probably need to dunk on 2 people. to show Coach I got some hops, you know?
No, correct. That's very true. And that night, that he did, he did show up to the game with some of the coaches. I mean, I want to say I probably had like 3 or 4 dunks in that game. Like it was like insane dunks too. Like some of the stuff I still kind of remember. But I just didn't. I did not feel any pressure because basketball was my comfort zone. Earlier I was telling you guys, like I only played my junior and senior year of football in high school. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a lot of experience. So basketball, it naturally was comfortable to me. It was natural. So I didn't feel any stress. I was just excited to show them that, hey, I'm going to put on a show in basketball and at least show you what I can do on the floor.
So, Courtney, I do want to ask this, and no, we're not going to get into the nuts and bolts of this, but overall, since you played for Coach Tuberville, are you surprised that he became a politician?
Oh, no, I'm not surprised. I mean, can I say that at that time that I was like, oh, he's going to be a senator, he's going to be this guy? No, I had no clue. And there's tons of people that kind of take up different things late in their careers or whatnot. And to be honest with you, it still kind of shocked me to this day.
Right.
When's the last time you talked to Coach Tuberville?
Ooh, it's been years. Right. The funny part is, so of course, a bunch of my family is still in Alabama or whatnot. And, one of my former classmates, or so to say, from Auburn, went to, I think, one of his rallies or something, when he was getting elected or whatnot. And I know he went up to him and he told me, hey, Courtney Taylor, that's my cousin, da-da-da. And, he just sent his hellos and blessings or whatnot, and he said to tell Courtney that he was one of the best leaders I've ever had. So,
wow,
that was pretty my, and like I said, that was like by the time when he started getting into it, and he got elected, and that's the kind of the last time I've talked to him to some degree.
Courtney, I got an Ole Miss buddy of mine, a guy I grew up with. He had a friend that played football at Ole Miss, and when Coach Tuberville was at Ole Miss, some of the players called him Coach Wingnut because of his ears. Did y'all ever kind of poke fun or have a nickname for Coach Tuberville? Or did y'all make fun of him at practice with his face? About his ears. But yeah, they used to call him Coach Wingnut because he said those ears just poked out way on out there like Wingnut.
Well, of course, people, but we made fun of everybody. Made fun of each other, made fun of our coaches. They definitely had some big old ears. So, but I mean, we never said it to his face, so to say.
Okay. Hey, something fun if you can remember back to your college days. Who did the best impersonation of Coach Tuberville? What player did the best impersonation?
Jonathan Wilhite. I don't know if you guys remember him. He played defensive back for Auburn, and I want to say he played maybe like 6-7 years in the league, played with the Patriots. But he was a funny guy, and he had a spot-on version of Tuberville. Like,
Steven, we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, you got to. Like he's a funny guy.
Courtney, if you still stay in touch, shoot him a text. Let him know that we're going to reach out to him.
Yeah, I definitely stay in touch with him. I'll shoot him a text. Like, bro.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So, Courtney, your first game as an Auburn Tiger came in 2003 against Southern California there in Auburn. What was that like, your first game going up against a blue blood like USC, and what do you remember most about that game?
Ooh, good question. I remember being excited. I redshirted the year before, so that was my redshirt freshman year, my actual chance to get on the field. And, being blessed, I had an opportunity to start. So I got in that game, and I mean, my parents were there, my aunts and uncles was there, so it was a big deal for me, and to play a program of that stature of USC, like it was just some amazing stuff to me, like really, really amazing. And in that game, like I said, one of the memories was I took maybe one of the biggest hits of my life. And but what it done for me, it showed me that I was tough as nails. It showed me that I could get hit in the mouth. I'm talking the type of hit that's on Sports Illustrated. The next issue when it comes out. I was on the front page of that. With the helmet like 2 feet up in the air. I'm getting hit, making this crazy looking face. But for me, it fueled me. Like it was like, wow, like I'm on Sports Illustrated. It might not be in the best light, but that's me. And that guy didn't knock me out of the game. Like of course I had to go out because my helmet came off and put it right back on, and I went right back in the game. And I led all receivers that game from both sides, Auburn and USC, and they had Mike Williams at that time. So I was a redshirt freshman leading all receivers on a big time ESPN national televised game. What can I complain about? Just say that we didn't get the win.
Looking back at your college career, what was your welcome to the SEC moment?
I would definitely say LSU. The game where we went.
You're not
LSU.
the first one that's mentioned that.
We went down to LSU, and that was the year I want to say they split the national title, but I know they won the national title that year. We went down there to Death Valley, a 7:00 game, and when I say they hit everything from us to probably the buses on the way out, they hit everything, and that was one of the most extreme, upbeat type games, especially from the fans. And I'll never forget. And I tell this story to a lot of the kids that I train today. I said, I wasn't scared, but it felt like the ground was shaking. The ground, it literally was shaking, and it made me feel like I was shaking. And I was saying to myself, like, I'm not scared of these guys. Like, I couldn't put it together, but, a couple of minutes into the atmosphere, you realize, like, wow, these fans, the players are fueling off of it, and these guys are out here hitting like missiles. So that was my SEC moment for sure.
So, Courtney, hold that thought because we're up against another break, and when we come back, we're going to dive further into your Auburn career. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Stingray Show. We will be right back. How would you guys like to try a caramel cookie butter hot chocolate? Hey, you guys ordered the Blitzen so much at Strange Brew Coffee House over the holidays until Strange Brew made the Blitzen a permanent addition to Strange Brew Originals. Hey, it's cold outside, it's wintertime, you probably need a pick-me-up or maybe even something to warm you up. Go by Strange Brew Coffee House on the Strip at the University of Alabama, 1101 University Boulevard, and get you something that will warm your heart and your soul right here on the Strip at the University of Alabama. Are you guys in the mood for community goods and great barbecue? That's what you'll find at the Coker Market, located in Coker, Alabama at the four-way intersection off of County Road 140. Their hours of operation are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. And their menu items include the Midnight, which is smoked ham, smoked pork, Swiss cheese, Creole mustard, mayonnaise, and a pickle grilled on French bread. That sandwich is absolutely amazing. Make sure you go and check out the Coker Market right there at the four-way intersection in Coker for amazing food and community goods. Your life can change on a dime, and if you are relocating for your job up to the Rocket City of Huntsville, the fastest growing city in the state of Alabama, you need to contact Celeste Hagler of First Class Real Estate South Home Group. She has brokers all over North Alabama to help you get settled with buying a new home in North Alabama. You can contact her at 205-861-5698. Once again, that is Celeste Hagler, 205-861-5698. Contact Celeste Hagler today to live where you love in the state of Alabama, even in the Rocket City of Huntsville.
A's 100.9. For more coverage of Alabama football, visit us at Tide100.9.com or download the free Tide 100.9 app.
The Crimson Tide will not be denied.
Residents of Tuscaloosa, are you guys upsizing, downsizing, looking for college housing, or even relocating for your job right here to Tuscaloosa? If that's the case, then you need to contact Celeste Hagler, owner and operator of First Class Real Estate South Home Group. She can help you with the buying, selling, and investment needs throughout the state of Alabama. You can contact Celeste at 205-861-5698. Reach out to Celeste again at 205-861-5698 and schedule a consultation to discuss your real estate goals and to live where you love in the state of Alabama.
Welcome back, SEC and college football fans. You're listening to the Stingray Show here on Tide 100.9. Our special guest today is Courtney Taylor. Courtney played football at Auburn, was a draft pick of the Seattle Seahawks, spent some time in the Canadian Football League, and he has been telling us all kinds of fun stories so far today. Courtney, I wanted to ask you, who is the toughest guy you ever played against, whether that's high school, college, in practice, in the NFL, whatever? Who was just one guy that was like, man, he's a bad dude?
There's so many guys. Yeah, I mean, I could go down the list. For college, I played against some pretty tough defenders, but my teammate was in my opinion was by far one of the better guys that I've ever faced against on a college level, and that's Carlos Rogers. He's Jim Thorpe Award winner, top 10 draft pick, 10 plus years in the league. I mean, the guy was just he was just awesome. Different. He was just different, and he was the one that I feel like a lot of my confidence came from, because I felt that if I can play against a Jim Thorpe, play against a top 10 pick defensive back for 2-3 years, and hold my own to some degree, I felt like no one could cover me. I felt like no one could stop me, to be honest. To my NFL days, I always keep going back. Darrelle Reeves, they call him. They call him Reeves Island for a reason. But I remember I got a chance to play against him, and he was kind of matched up on me most of the day, and it was the coolest thing ever in my head. It was the coolest thing ever, because I'm going against a guy that I was watching in college, and and to get 2 catches on him, that made my day. And I tell people all the time, I got 2 catches on Darrelle Reeves. It was the coolest stuff ever. And but all in all of that, it takes me to my CFL days, and I'll tell anybody this. A guy by the name of Corey Banks, will probably go down as the best DB that I've ever faced, and that's college, that's NFL. And some people might be like, "Yo, you crazy? Like, that he's in the CFL." And I'm like, you guys have no clue how much good talent is in the CFL. I believe that. I didn't have a clue, because I was coming from the NFL, and I thought the NFL is, of course it's the best of the best. But when you go to a league like the CFL, you'd be shocked when you find a guy that should be in the NFL. And it was so weird to me. And like, he never really got a shot to play. He played, I want to say he played like 2-3 years with the Miami Dolphins, and there and played like 12, 13 years in Canada. But
what was his name?
Corey Banks. Played at Mississippi State.
I was about to say the same Corey Banks that played at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Here's a fun story about Corey Banks. We won't stay on Corey long. Mississippi State was like top 15, top 10 preseason one year, and the bottom just fell out. I want to say that was like the 2001 season. Okay. And Corey Banks was a young guy on that team, but he started all year, and he got burnt over and over and over and over. Of course, we had 9/11 that year, and so, it messed the season up a little bit. But here comes Eli Manning in Ole Miss, and Corey Banks hadn't done anything all year. And lo and behold, he picks off Eli Manning. He looked like a superstar in the Egg Bowl that year. Picked him off 3 times, shut it down.
Yep.
He could play. Of course, he built his confidence after that. He could play.
The terminology we use is a dog. He's just an undersized guy. And it was, it's about prototypes and so forth. But I have, I've known many receivers, many DBs that played in both leagues or just played in the NFL, and they still talk about Corey Banks. Like, we know. The world don't know, but we know how good he was. And he's by far one of the best I've ever played against, by far.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Just crazy.
That is crazy.
So, Courtney, going back to the 2003 season, you got your first taste of the Iron Bowl as a player. What do you remember most about your first Iron Bowl there at Auburn?
Oh, man, it was big. Of course, to me, it's one of the biggest rivalries in college football. And I have more stake in it because over half, I can't say half, 80% of my family are Alabama fans. And they let me know it every chance they got. So, my first one to play in and to actually win the game and then to actually go home to Carrollton right after the game. It was, it's stuff that I could never forget. I can never forget it. A bunch of my classmates was at the game and to contribute to help my team win whatever part that was, like that's the biggest thing. Like I just wasn't there standing on the sidelines watching, like I actually was playing. So it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Courtney, I got a fun question for you. Was that the last time you got to play a college football game and got to go home afterwards?
No.
The Iron Bowl?
Every time we played, I got to go home.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because we usually have a break built in that was right after that. And so I remember my first year, for 2 years I got to go home. The only time I didn't is because I had pulled my hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
So my senior didn't even play against Alabama. So a lot of people forgot about that or don't remember it. My senior year, I pulled the hamstring the Wednesday before the game. And it was the craziest thing ever. But, I of course I went to the game and I suited up and I went out for the first play limping, cause
that's what Coach Tuberville does.
Yeah. Tuberville was like, look, you can get out there. We're going to run the ball anyway. I know it's your last game. I at least want you to suit up. And I thought that was cool because I didn't even want to suit up or anything. I just wanted to go and watch. But Coach Tuberville was like, this is one of the biggest games of your career. You've been a big part of this series. We want you out there. We need you out there. Your receiver, my young guys, he's like, they need you out there. He's like, hey, just go out there for one play. And then, you can kind of just help build the guys on the sideline. And I thought that was pretty cool because, even now when I think about it years later, I'm like, wow, what if I didn't dress out that game? Not to be with my teammates, not to cherish that victory we had at Alabama. It was pretty cool. And I'm glad that Coach Tubb kind of pushed me to up and be there for my teammates.
What if you heard kill, kill, kill? Would you try to kill off the quarterback? No kill.
No, for real.
You were out there for that one play, that running play.
No, kill. No, I can't run around here. Do not call him.
Oh, good stuff.
All right, so Courtney, you guys capped off the 03 season with a Music City Bowl win over Wisconsin. What was it like experiencing your first bowl trip?
Amazing. I mean, that was my first one, and all you do is hear from the older guys about how fun the bowl game, the bowl season is. You take one and you go to all these different cities and you get to experience the city.
Right.
I mean, it was pretty amazing. That was down in Nashville. So that was my first time ever going to Nashville. So I had a chance to experience Nashville, the good food, the good music. I mean, and then, like you said, just the atmosphere of it, it was all business, but you got a chance to kind of bond with your teammates doing little activities outside of football. So it was, it was a good experience, and it gave us the drive and the hunger to try to go to a bigger and better bowl.
Yes. So, Courtney, hold that thought because we are up against our final break. And when we come back, we are going to dive into the magical season of 2004. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Stingray Show. We will be right back.
Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. The Martin Houston Show.
Join the Martin Houston Show powered by Max Sports. On a Monday edition of the program, we'll add Kennington Smith III of The Athletic to the conversation. We'll review Bama's big weekend versus LSU. Did they keep it rolling against another set of Tigers? We'll talk about that. And, of course, at the top of the menu will be Kalen DeBoer's weekend and what happened with the Crimson Tide football program. We have those conversations and more. And the phone line's always open at 205-342-9904, the Alabama One hotline. We'll talk to you on Monday. Roll Tide.
Catch the Martin Houston Show from 6 to 7 weekday mornings on Tide 100.9.
Since 1999, residents of Tuscaloosa has depended on this butcher shop and grocery store. I'm talking about South's Finest Meats. With their specialty meats and fresh to frozen bulk vegetables, you can prepare delicious home-cooked meals all week long. At South's Finest Meats, customer service is their number one priority, and when you shop with them, you can expect to be treated like an MVP. Go by and check out South's Finest Meats at 3201 10th Avenue right there in Tuscaloosa. South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show. Residents of Tuscaloosa, are you guys upsizing, downsizing, looking for college housing, or even relocating for your job right here to Tuscaloosa? If that's the case, then you need to contact Celeste Hagler, owner and operator of First Class Real Estate South Home Group. She can help you with the buying, selling, and investment needs throughout the state of Alabama. You can contact Celeste at 205-861-5698. Reach out to Celeste again at 205-861-5698 and schedule a consultation to discuss your real estate goals and to live where you love in the state of Alabama. Are you guys in the mood for community goods and great barbecue? That's what you'll find at the Coker Market, located in Coker, Alabama at the four-way intersection off of County Road 140. Their hours of operation are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 7 p.m., and their menu items include the Midnight, which is smoked ham, smoked pork, Swiss cheese, Creole mustard, mayonnaise, and a pickle, grilled on French bread. That sandwich is absolutely amazing. Make sure you go and check out the Coker Market right there at the four-way intersection in Coker for amazing food and community goods.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Good evening. Traffic conditions looking a lot better across the area. Not seeing any accidents or problems. Just a reminder of road work continuing on McWright's Ferry Road. The roadway is being extended down to Rice Mine Road, so watch for road and traffic restrictions. Also watch for road work on Oscar Baxter Drive at Highway 69. Lane closures in the area. Buckle up, drive safe, and with your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Angie Berlier.
Townsend Nissan's championship team covering a national championship team. The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Are you guys in the mood for community goods and great barbecue? That's what you'll find at the Coker Market, located in Coker, Alabama at the four-way intersection off of County Road 140. Their hours of operation are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. and their menu items include the Midnight, which is smoked ham, smoked pork, Swiss cheese, Creole mustard, mayonnaise, and a pickle, grilled on French bread. That sandwich is absolutely amazing. Make sure you go and check out the Coker Market right there at the four-way intersection in Coker for amazing food and community goods. Welcome back inside of our final segment right here on the Stingray Show. Our guest this evening is Courtney Taylor, the Carrollton, Alabama native who played at Auburn. And Courtney, I've got to ask you, the next season in 2004 was the magical season for Auburn. When did you know that that team was going to be special and could potentially go undefeated?
People, you can tell people, oh, it was this game, it was that game, and I looked in people's eyes and I could tell and I knew. No, I would say it was literally the summer before that summer before the season started. And,
right.
I tell this story to some of my, some of the kids that I train, and I tell them, I said, it became a bond, and it wasn't the most ideal situation. I'm gonna try to be quick, but not give too much detail. There was a party in the summer, and things got a little heated, and players stuck up for each other. And from that moment forward, we was a team. And that was from the big guys like the Cadillac Williams, the Ronnie Browns, it was from those guys all the way down. And, because for us, we're looking at Cadillac and Ronnie and those guys like they're like superstars in our eyes.
Right.
Like it's a difference. Like people don't understand. Like, yeah, they're your teammate, but we understand how much they work and what they put into it to be that. So that's why we look at them like on a even bigger level than a fan would. So I would say in that moment, in those moments at that time, I remember Coach Tuberville brought us all together the next day, and he gave us a good chewing out. And then our leaders stood up and took over the room, and we never looked back. And right. At that moment, I could say that we was a team, that we had each other back, and that the other guy had our back, whether it was on the field or off the field. And we went forward from there.
So, Courtney, your first touchdown in an Auburn uniform came against LSU, and it was the game winner in 2004. Walk us through that play as you remember it in upsetting LSU there in 04.
Well, I usually tend to take you back maybe 2-3 plays before that play. Okay. And to me, that was the biggest play of that game. And, of course, one of the biggest plays of my career. That it was a 4th and 12. And you get that, and we get an opportunity to go win the game, or you don't get that, and the ball game is over with.
Yes.
And that I remember, it was a double comeback play, out of doubles, 2x2 set. And it was a play that we practiced literally year round. We just didn't run it much in games. We didn't have to. And I remember the play was called, and, in my head, I said to myself, like, they coming to me. in my head.
What was the play call? What was the play call?
It was doubles right. And I kind of, I do so much football these days, I forget our protection, but doubles right, and we call it double comeback. And so it was a dash. So the quarterback dashed out the pocket a little bit and double comeback. And I remember we called it, and I was like, wow, like, okay, this is real. This is my time. And it was between, it's two receivers there. So it could have went 50-50. But as I saw how the coverage was, as I read the coverage, I said, this is a high percentage I can get this ball. And I just remember saying to myself that, hey, this guy in front of me is not going to stop me. I remember reading his body language. It was late in the game. I think it was like a minute and 16 left. So his hands were on his hip, but like in a tired manner. And athletes, we know what that tired manner is. And I for some reason, I got energized when I saw that. I was like, oh, he's tired. So, to make that play, and then ultimately 3 plays later to catch the game-winning touchdown. And once again, I was in the same mindset, like, wow, like they calling a play, I'm in the read again. Like it was just amazing to me. And at those moments, all I could think about is just not letting my teammates down, not letting my coaches down, not letting the fans down, and just doing my job, do what I've been doing every single day. And fortunately, I was blessed enough to do what I did every single day, and Jason did his job, and the rest was history. After that, we won that game, and it was a momentum pushing type game that really excelled us even more throughout that season.
Of all your time playing receiver, who threw the prettiest ball? What quarterback you're just like, man, he can just sling it, or man, he can fit it in this window?
Jason Campbell is definitely up there.
Okay.
Matt Hasselbeck had a really pretty ball.
Okay.
His ball was snappy. I can't explain it. It was just, yeah. I would definitely say Matt, because I didn't have a lot of really, really good quarterbacks. But Matt Hasselbeck, before his injury, because he had back issues, his later end of his towards the latter end of his career. But I would definitely say probably Matt Hasselbeck, because some of the most prettiest balls, very light. And what I mean by light is like all quarterbacks throw a little different. Like Jason had more of a pop, like he was a pop passer, tight spiral, and it's a pop, and it comes. You can hear the ball whistling. That's how fast it's coming. With Matt, it didn't even look like he was throwing hard, but the ball was coming just as fast, but it hit your hand lighter. So I thought he threw I always thought he threw some of the best balls.
So, Courtney, look, man, like I said, thank you so much for taking time to do this interview with us. And, Courtney, I'm going to turn it over to you for any of your family members or friends that listen and live there in Carrollton. The floor is all yours for the final say.
All right, man. Carrollton, Alabama, Pickens County. Hey, man, love you guys. Miss you guys. I still get back home once to twice a year, so I'll be home pretty soon, or Eagle, and to my Alabama family members, fans, and all that good stuff. We don't say roll tide, we just say, hey, roll on.
Yes. So Courtney, we will definitely catch up with you later on. Stay cool and stay dry up there in Seattle, and have a wonderful week.
Thank you guys for having me.
Courtney.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
So, Heath, that is going to wrap up another wonderful interview there with a local product out of Carrollton, Alabama. And Heath, those stories, when we interview former players, that is what everything about college football is all about, man.
Yeah, and I want to stress, we say it all the time, but it is so completely true. If you're listening to this on the radio and you enjoyed it, the podcast is 1 trillion times better.
Yes.
There's more stories. Sometimes we have to take out things that are not radio friendly or whatever it might be. But that podcast is 1 trillion times better, more details to the story. Sometimes we have to cut out parts of the story.
Yes.
So there's always more stories, more details to the stories. Some things are over the top. Definitely check out the podcast on Apple or Spotify.
And Heath, any final thoughts before we head out here on the Stingray Show?
I wish Courtney Taylor was my neighbor. I enjoyed talking football with him. I enjoyed everything about it. I wish Courtney nothing but the absolute very best with health and football, career, and life. Courtney was a very gracious guest, and look forward to having him on again.
So, Heath, like I said, that is going to wrap up another edition of the Stingray Show. We will see you guys on down the line on Monday evening. Have a wonderful weekend out there. Enjoy the playoffs on Sunday. Catch you back here on Monday. Are you guys in the mood